Good morning, everyone. How you doing on this magical Monday, May the 8th, year 2023? Yep, Mazske is back in South Florida after a fantastic conference, a fantastic trip, lots of great activities, and meeting a lot of great new friends and seeing some old friends. So I'm going to tell you about that trip, okay? A lot was free, including our flights there and back, and even a hotel room where we stayed on the Riverwalk. So, with that being said, I'm Mazske Finance. I am not a financial advisor, not a CPA, not an attorney. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a nutritionist. I am just Mazske. I'm the guy who never made a lot of money working in his life, but now, due to his investing, he is a multi-millionaire. So, as I always say, if I can do it, this little blue-collar guy, if I can do it, you can do it. And if you're a high net worth individual, you can achieve $10 million, $20 million net worth faster than I can, but I will be there one day. All right, so with that being said, if I remember to tell you about it. Okay, I've met a lot of great people. Some have now subscribed to this channel. Okay, so what we did, we left our residence here on Wednesday. We flew to Texas on United Airlines. Okay, I did upgrade to first class for $99 for each of us. And what they did, and I had a free ticket. It was a credit from canceling a trip to Chicago last year because we went to Maryland instead. So we had a United credit. And I used that credit to purchase the tickets. And then a day or two before the trip, I did a $99 upgrade. And what they did on the flight to Houston, they put us in, not first class, but right behind it. It's like United First, I think they called it. But on the leg from Houston to San Antonio, they put us in first class. Okay, so that was nice. All right, that was a short flight though. And then we got there at nighttime. We got there, I think, 9:30ish. So by the time we took a Uber or a Lyft, it was either free or 5x points with my credit card, or $10 cash back if it was an Uber ride, one or the other. And we went to the Courtyard Marriott in San Antonio on the Riverwalk. Okay, free. It was a free night for me because I had that Marriott credit card that gave me 5 free nights in hotels. That's the second free night I've stayed. First one was in Sarasota a couple months ago when we went up and saw a baseball game. Okay, so we stayed there. Then we got up the next morning. We had a breakfast downstairs in the hotel. And I think I paid for that. Yes, I paid for that. And then we took a walk on the Riverwalk. It's a beautiful walk. We did it in the morning. It was cool. Chit-chatted with a few people along the way. Walked up, walked back. I think I wear a Fitbit. I forget what I got, 6,000, 7,000 steps on that walk. We drove over then in the afternoon to the Hyatt Regency Hill Country. And we got there Thursday afternoon. We checked in. We met a variety of Eckerd staff. Shout out Amanda at Eckerd. I remember chatting with you. You recognized me. I had talked to Amanda on the phone before. Told her about the health test, the blood test, and the gut test that we had done, and the CGM we were wearing. Told her about it. I sent her the links for them. So it was great to meet you, Amanda. And I saw Eckerd staff. If I forget to mention you, my apologies. I met so many of you, I can't keep y'all straight. Okay. All right. So anyway, I saw Valerie that morning as well. I forget who else I saw right then when I checked in. But we got our check-in done. We got checked into the hotel. We got some Eckerd swag. Shoot, I forgot to carry something in here. Maybe next time I'll wear an Eckerd hat or something. All right. And then I'll forget some details. But then that evening, we had a meet and greet at the hotel. We had cocktails, I think at 6, dinner at 7 with the partners that were there. Not everybody was there by then. I did meet someone the next day that said they rolled in about midnight or so that night. And then following dinner, we had casino night on the Hyatt property. It was the best way to gamble. We didn't use real money. So we were given a certain allotment of money, coins, that were not real. And we kind of meandered around. It's always, if someone is a drinker, there's always an open bar at every dinner or at every activity in the evening like that. And if you're not an alcohol drinker, there's water, there's soda, there's a variety of other coffee, I think tea, etc. Okay, so we wandered around, we met some folks, we chatted. There was a band playing, so it's hard to talk. But I had my best luck on the spinning wheel, whatever you call that thing. You put your chip down on a spot, you spin the wheel, if it lands on it, you win, whatever it says in there, 2 for 1, 5 for 1, 40 to 1. And then I played, another table I was playing War. That game you might play when you were a kid, played War. I ended up winning more than I lost, so I left with more coins in my pocket than I started with. And then I realized, what do I do with these coins? I don't need them for souvenirs. I'm downsized. I'm trying to move out of the country, so we're getting rid of stuff. So we kept some of the coins that said Eckerd on them. So they'll be our souvenirs. All right. And that was Thursday night, so then we went to bed. Got up Friday, had breakfast. All meals were provided. Troy Eckerd, I should have said this in the beginning. Thank you so much for this conference. You don't know how much we appreciate it. We attended last year at Amelia Island. We now attended San Antonio, Texas. We've never been to Texas, so that was our first trip to Texas. We will return to Texas. We love the great state of Texas. We may spend a couple months living there when we're being nomadic, making our tour of the United States sometime in a couple years if plans work out accordingly. So Troy, thank you so much. All right, thanks for everything. Thanks for helping to create me to become more wealthy. I appreciate it. All right, and Troy, his company covered this entire trip. We had to get there. Once we were there, everything was covered. Okay, so we then took an activity on Friday. We had signed up for the Best of San Antonio tour. They bussed us over to the Riverwalk, where I had walked the day before, and we took a barge ride through the river. I forget the name of the company. Took a barge ride. We spent an hour and a half or so. So in that group, we met some great folks. I got to know him over the next couple of days, but dentist, oh my goodness gracious, I'm drawing a blank on his name. We talked at a dinner table. We talked in the hallway. Oh, what's your name? Not Bernard. Oh, and your wife. The two of you, we sat on the boat. We see you. We sat close together on the bus. I'm drawing a blank. I forget. I'm sorry. You're from... Not Iowa. That's a different doctor from Iowa. Not Minnesota. Or was it Minnesota? I forget. I'm sorry. If you watch this because you know about my channel, my apologies. My email address is below. Shoot me an email and remind me what your name is. But it'll come to me when the video is done. All right. So then we took the barge tour. Then we took a tour of the Alamo. It was an audio tour. We spent roughly an hour there walking around the Alamo. It's a fun place to visit. If you haven't been to San Antonio, I highly recommend it. We followed that. We got bussed over to a Mexican restaurant. I forget the name of the restaurant. 2 bus loads of people. So we all sat in there. We had a free lunch. We got 1 drink ticket. We could get any kind of drink we wanted. And then they bussed us back to the Hyatt. That evening was the Cinco de Mayo fiesta on the hotel property. Great time. It was cocktails, it was dinner, it was festivities, it was a band, it was meeting a variety of people. I had dinner with, the heart doctor and your 17-year-old son that were there, the dentist, and the missus. We talked to you there that night. Had a good talk with Garrett there. I had a little chat with Troy there. Trevor Eckerd, Troy's son, I had several chats with you there. It's great talking to you, Trevor. You shared me a bit of information about your mom that I didn't know. Your mom was there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet her. Maybe I'll meet her in Panama one day. It'd be nice to see you, Troy, and your mom, and whoever else from Eckerd wants to come to Panama. Maybe we'll have a conference in Panama one day. All right, so with that being said, we wrapped up Friday night. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. Saturday, then we had presentations. We had our great breakfast in the morning again. We started 8-ish with talks and presentations. Troy talked to us. We had a talk on the banking industry. Banks. Banks are a concern. I think they've been mentioned on my channel. Some banks have failed in recent months. We had a talk on the economy. We had talks, a couple different talks on mineral rights acreage. All right, I won't rehash everything about that. I have mentioned mineral rights before on this channel. During these days to the past day or so, I did become friends with a police officer that was working events. Shout out Alex. Stay safe on the job there, young man. I do hope you take my advice and I will help make you wealthy, just like anybody watching this channel. I have, as I've always said, I have shared the keys to the castle. I know I have a lot of videos. If you're new to my channel, I know you don't have the time to go back and watch all my videos. I understand, it's a lot. But I have shared the keys to the castle. I have told you exactly how I did it without making a lot of money. How I went from 0 to 25 rentals in 4 years, okay? I have a playlist called 0 to 25 rentals in 4 years. It's two hours of videos maybe. Watch that playlist and I will spell out how I went from 0 to 25 rentals in 4 years. I also invest in mineral rights acreage and I invest in a working interest in oil drilling. I've talked about that on my channel. I have another playlist called Interview with Others. I've had a variety of real estate investors on my channel that are there. Michael Zuber's there. He has like 200 some rentals. I've had low income folks who are now millionaires. I've had low income folks a young man who's, when he was like 12, his mom was murdered. He was in a rough part of a city of New York. He now has 4 or 5 rentals and he's a police officer up in New York. Okay, he's on the path to becoming wealthy. There's a lot of different interviews there. We've talked about credit cards, using credit cards to travel quick and all that kind of stuff. All right, so anyway, then Saturday night, we were given tickets that when we checked in, I did have a winning number on a ticket. Saturday night was going to be a rodeo that we attended, local Texas rodeo, the best rodeo in Texas. That rodeo had all the activities of rodeo, you know, it had the ladies on the horses with the flags. Great. I got to pet a horse when we checked in. Oh, it was great walking into the entrance to the rodeo. We had the horses outside with the flags. One young lady had an Eckerd flag. But as we walked up, Eckerd's staff was lined up, addressing us by name, shaking our hands. And it's like, Mike, shout out Mike. You're my wealth advisor. It was great to meet you. I've seen your picture. Now I've seen you in real life. We talked several times during the event. I appreciate everything you're doing. I appreciate everything you are doing. I appreciate everything everyone at Eckerd is doing, from the ladies behind the scenes. Lindsay Herring. Oops, sorry, I don't usually say last names. Lindsay, I met you on Amelia Island. Didn't get a chance to talk to you at the event, but I saw you at one point. Thanks for what you're doing in accounting. Thanks to all of you. Amelia, thank you. I met you. You gave me and my wife a hug. I appreciate it. We only talked briefly with you, but thank you. So we attended the rodeo. I did, after the rodeo, get my picture taken on a bull. I'm going to make another video. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. I'm just going to put all my pictures up. Okay? So you will see me sitting on a bull. All right? There was also, I had a winning ticket for Josh Turner, country singer, Long Black Train. He performed for us. And this was a private rodeo, just for the Eckerd partners, Eckerd staff. And the concert was just for the Eckerd partners and the Eckerd staff. Okay? So I won a winning ticket to have a meet and greet with Josh. I like country music. I like rock music. I like pop music. I was a teenager in the 80s. That's my go-to decade. But I like country music from the 90s. But with that being said, I'm not a huge fan of Josh Turner. I've met a fair number of famous people in my life. And people are people. We all put our pants on 2 legs at one time. Whatever that saying is. We all put our pants on the same way. We're all real people. We're just people. All right, so it was okay. I would have met him. But then I was talking to another guy I met, a biologist from San Diego. I met him and his wife. And I told him I had won. He said he missed winning by 1 digit on the winning number. But he told me his wife was disappointed because she's a huge fan of his music. That's all he needed to say. I gave him my winning ticket so his wife could meet Josh Turner. Hopefully they had a great time. He doesn't know about my channel. I didn't mention it to him. Hopefully someone will let me know if they talk to us. His wife came up to me and thanked me. and I forget her name. But anyway, hopefully she had a great time. And we wrapped that night up. Shout out to the young lady working the bar. You helped me various times with a beer if I wanted to get one, but I figured I'd wrap the night up with, in Panama, I started this staying at the Hilton. I would get a free drink at the Hilton in Panama because I'm a diamond member of the Hilton. And it's great. Go to Panama City sometime, stay in the Hilton, great hotel. And I would get a Long Island iced tea. And so at the rodeo, I asked the young lady, concert was still performing, but it was getting later. I said, do you know how to make a Long Island iced tea? And she said, yes. And I didn't know how to make it. I don't know the ingredients. And she took that bottle, she took that bottle, she took that bottle, she took that bottle, she stirred it up, put a lime in it, and gave it to me. It was just a great way to wrap that evening up while sitting there at the table, sipping maybe on that drink or maybe the drink prior. At some point, there's a young man that was sitting behind me. We're sitting on top of the table. He was facing the other way, and we bumped somehow. And we turned and we talked. And he works for the rodeo. He's a young man. He's 21 or 22 years old. Shout out Taylor. I told you about my channel. Maybe you'll watch this. So Taylor and I had a great conversation. We talked about investing. He learned about my channel. He subscribed to my channel. Maybe he'll watch this. Taylor, I'll be back to that rodeo. I'll be back to San Antonio one day. Hopefully you're going to tell me you've started investing. Hopefully you will tell me you've bought your first rental house. My email is always in the description below, how someone can reach out to me if they want to talk investing. I will try to help you if I can. I'm not going to hold your hand. I might, a little bit, kind of. But I will provide you with the education that you need to move forward to create your own wealth. Okay, so we got bussed back to the hotel after that. I'm sorry, this is getting long. Sunday morning we got up, we had a great breakfast. We said a few goodbyes. The attendees were much, much less. People have been rolling out. We did have our second breakfast with a doctor, physician, and her husband. They're from Iowa, I believe. And 2 mornings in a row, we sat at the same table and chit-chatted. I don't think I told them about my channel. But it was great to see them, and we plan to see each other next year, wherever the next year's Eckerd event will be. We then got ourselves packed up, and we got ourselves checked out of the hotel. I had one last talk with Trevor. That's where he shared a tidbit of information about his mom. I don't think I talked with Troy Sunday morning. That's okay, Troy. I'll see you again. And I did text him later that day. And then I got picked up. Here's another shout out. Amafid, if I said your name right. Amafid and his wife, Y. Amafid is a subscriber to my channel. He comments at various times on my videos. Amafid picked up, with his wife Y, picked up myself and the missus at the Hyatt and took us to a restaurant, bought us lunch. We had a great conversation. Amafid owns a few rentals. I shared with him about mineral rights. He's accredited. Perhaps he will become a new partner. And if we don't meet up in San Antonio, maybe we'll meet at an Eckerd event next year, perhaps, if he buys some acreage. Okay. Then he took us to the airport and dropped us off. We flew from San Antonio Airport to Dallas Airport. When I got to Dallas Airport, I was flying on Capital One. I had a Capital One credit card. Got a free flight with my points. At the Dallas airport, I knew Capital One is starting to open up lounges. They have some brand new lounges. I think they only have 3 open, and I think some of them are elsewhere in the world, but they have one at the Dallas airport, DFW. So we were in whatever terminal we were in. We had to get over to Terminal D to get to that lounge. By the time we get there, we get checked in. There was a line for the bathroom. Then we get some food. It's free. Everything's free when you go to a lounge there if you got the right credentials to get in. Meal was free, etc. And we got dessert. My diet, I gained 2 pounds. Okay, I averaged 12,000, 13,000 steps a day. I did try to eat a salad at most meals when I could, but I ate desserts, I think, every night there. I did gain 2 pounds, but I will lose those 2 pounds today or tomorrow with my walking and my swimming and so on and so on. But then we made it to the airplane. After we left the terminal, I had it timed out with the time. I was like, we better go. We had to get on the, we call it Skylink, get that little above ground transit car and get over to another terminal. And as we get off, we're walking fast and walk to the gate. The last folks were standing in line, group 9. We were group 8 because we're flying for free. And we got on, almost the very last person to get on the plane. It worked out. We made it. But sitting on the plane then, I had a window seat. Mrs. was in the middle, and there's a young man, Gavin. Shout out Gavin. Gavin, you and I are going to meet up again. Gavin, you are going to be a multimillionaire one day. I guarantee it. The best. I can't guarantee anything, but I almost guarantee it. Gavin and I had a great talk on that flight. He wants to house hack. He wants to get a duplex. He's 21 years old. He's from Oklahoma. And he told me about Oklahoma. I haven't yet been to Oklahoma. I plan to go on a field trip one day with Troy, but I haven't been there yet. I may perhaps, possibly, buy a rental house or two in Oklahoma to complement my mineral rights in that state. So Gavin might have opened that door for me. We shall see. At the same time, I gave Gavin so many tidbits of information that I know he can't remember it all. But he knows about my channel. And he actually lives in Southwest Virginia. And I'm going to have him on my channel, especially as he's progressing towards getting his duplex. And hopefully he can be successful. And if so, he'll be on my channel one day. All right. So anyway, we got home it was late. It was almost midnight by the time we got home. Shuttle driver had trouble finding our car in the parking lot. It kept going to the wrong lane. So it took us a little while to get our car back. But we got it and made it back. So on the airplane, the last airplane to one of the airplanes, the stewardess there was talking about her daughter, not to us, but to people in front of us. She was sitting on that jump seat facing us, out second row back. And her daughter had been in college and has had some health problems that is befuddling the doctors. Oh, I forgot. Shout out Andy. Dentist Andy and his wife. We had lunch with them. They were on our Best of San Antonio tour. We had lunch with them. We met up with him at various times throughout the rest of the event. Shout out Andy. You're a dentist. I appreciate it. Maybe when I'm being nomadic and traveling the U.S., if I happen to pass through where you are, because I got your cell number, I'll contact you. I might need to get a checkup and I see how much it'll cost me because I don't have dental insurance. Same way with some of the doctors. Maybe I'll be traveling and contact you because maybe I'll need a physical and I'll pay you out of pocket for that. So with that being said, I know I forgot to mention a lot of people. I didn't tell the majority of folks about my channel, so no harm done there. So with that being said, think about getting on the real estate path. Think about getting yourself accredited, which is having a net worth of $1 million, not counting your primary residence, or having a high enough income to qualify. And once you get accredited, mineral rights acreage is an option for you. Okay, doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm not telling you to do it. It's an option. But if you decide to buy mineral rights acreage, as long as Troy continues to have annual conferences, and this year's event was the 25th annual conference, maybe I'll see you at a conference somewhere in the future. He did hint we may need our passports for next year's conference. So with that being said, this video's got long. I apologize. I try to keep them around 10 to 12 minutes, and we're counting down to 25, so I will wrap this up. Have yourself a great day. I'll come back to you more regularly now that I'm back home until I move to Panama with some tips and nuggets of information about how to become a real estate investor. I'll add in information about how to use credit cards to benefit yourself to get free travel and free lodging. I'll talk about stocks a little bit. I may mention crypto. I may mention farmland. I may mention some other investment. I may talk about frugality, playing a good defense, etc., 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 etc. I have used so many tricks and techniques of investing along the way that I took my low-paying job as a police officer and I became a multimillionaire. So shout out again, Alex, fellow brother in blue. I'm now retired though. Hopefully I can get you on that path. Shout out to everyone that I mentioned and I forgot to mention. It was great meeting you. Most of you that I met at the Eckerd event are already accredited. So you've already done something right. Probably you worked a high paying job and you got investments going, which is great. But with that being said, I'm here to help the little guy to reach it to the top pinnacle of wealth. So I'm going to wrap this up. It's 25 minutes. Have a great day. Mazskes signing out.